name's Chantelle. I'm 33 years old. I was born in Kimberley, grew up in Kimberley. I'm currently a member of the Defence Force, and I've basically moved throughout the country given my job. I've got a 3-year-old son. I've also got a fiance. I've been living in Pretoria now for the past 3 years. It was in December. Actually, my husband saw the lump. I didn't feel anything. He's a nurse by profession, and he said to me that I need to go and have that thing checked out because that is not normal. And I actually left it. I didn't take his advice. I left it for like 3-4 months. Then it actually started getting painful, and that is when I went and had it checked out, where they did a needle biopsy. And with the needle biopsy, they discovered that it's cancerous, and that they're going to have to remove it to determine the extent of the cancer. They removed it and they sent it away. I still don't understand the term because it's like these massive words that they use. But it was stage 3, and they then decided to go for chemo. I needed to go for chemo as well as the radium, but luckily not a mastectomy. So that is how I got to this point where I am now. Initially, when you find out emotionally, you're not there. There's like a information overload that eats you. So you have to have a good support base. Otherwise, the fight just is so much more difficult because you don't register what they're telling you. All the terms and stuff that they use, you don't understand what's going on. The only thing that sticks in your head is the fact that you've got cancer and the fear of losing. Like with me, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So the first thing that gets into your head is they're going to cut my boobs off. That's the worst. And then there's all the tests that you have to go through to determine the extent of the cancer. It's one scan on top of another scan. I got a lovely box of tips from Platinum Life. Because a lot of people, they give you advice and they tell you, that is why I say I can't give anybody advice on how to deal with it, because each individual, your case is different, and what worked for me may not work for the next person. But like I said, you need a strong support base. My doctor, I don't think I can name on this thing, he told me anything that is stressing you, you need to get rid of it. Because the battle that you are about to enter needs to be your main focal point, so you don't need any other stress around you. You don't need anybody telling you or adding to your stress, because actually cancer feeds on stress. It's acidic stress, so it could enhance the cancer in your body, so you need to get rid of everything else that is that could become a factor, that could make your battle worse. I started chemo. Every time you go for chemo, your reaction is a bit worse. The first one went okay. I recovered after 3 days. And then I was fine. I was good to go. There's nausea. There's this metallic taste in your mouth all the time. You're tired. You're irritable. But like I said, the first one, after 3 days I was fine, and then after 3 weeks I lost all my hair. That was a funny experience, because actually my fiance was in the garage busy cutting his hair with the clippers, and I got into the shower and I was washing my hair, and when I looked down, all my hair was laying on the floor. So that wasn't like, and he came in from the garage and I said, bring the clippers because I need to cut the rest of this off. So in the same day we both went bald. Him by choice and me by chemo. I think that was the most traumatic experience, especially for a female as young as myself. After that, second treatment took about a week to recover. Third treatment takes a bit longer. My sessions was every 3 weeks for 6 months. So by the time you get to like the last 2 months, just as soon as you recover from the treatment, it's time for your next treatment. I was lucky in the sense that the people at work were very supportive. They let me take off as much time as I needed. So that gave me like enough time to recover, because if you think you're going to juggle a job and chemo, it's not going to happen. It's not, because like I say, every time you go, it takes a bit longer to recover. So if you don't have, or if you're in a position where people are going to force you to then take unpaid leave, financially it could have a big strain on you. Like I say, I was in a fortunate position where I had enough time to deal with the chemo.
Okay.
The chemo alone costed about 75,000. The radium was over 30,000. That is not including all the scans and stuff that you need to go through for them to diagnose you. I mean, I've seen a bit of the approvals. I don't see much like with the but you notice on your approvals like the scan is 12,000, the other one is 10,000. It's not a cheap business. It's not, and I mean, when you are put in that position, the last thing that you want to worry about is how you're going to cover those costs. So for people that don't have the right medical aid or whatever, it could actually add to your stress and add to the pressure that you're going to go through with the disease itself. Okay, this is actually my second platinum policy that I've got. I took the first one out a couple of years ago. And then I can't remember why I cancelled it or what, but then I was contacted again, and then I took out a policy again. This was, I think I was still working in P at the time, so it should have been around about 2006, 2007, when I took the policy out again. And it doesn't take much off your budget. It's, to me, it was really worth it. My experience with Platinum Life's personnel, I didn't struggle when I put in my claim at all. They only wanted the medical records that said I was diagnosed. And my claim, I think it took not even 7 days for them to pay out. And then I got a wonderful surprise. I can't remember if it was before or after. Sorry, I'm a bit democrat. But they sent me what do you call it? Coping mechanism. It was just the box included things or tools that I could use to make my experience better. They knew that I was going to lose my hair, so they included like a scarf and a hat. Pajamas, slippers, ginger tea, very important because it gets you through the nausea. A book that I've still got, and I'm going to pass it on to one of my friends that has also been diagnosed now. That also deals with the lady that went through cancer. It shows you that you're not alone in this experience, that it can also happen to anybody, and her experience was a lot longer. It was just something at that specific day. It lifted my spirits a lot because I was down, and then this box came here, and I'm like, yo, they actually, I don't know, but it just made me feel it made me feel a lot better that day, because I think it just came at the right time. They also sent me a gift voucher. I used it, Pick and Pay groceries. It worked for that month. But yeah, it just and the constant contact with him. Normally you take out a policy when you must claim, it's a big issue, and then once they pay you out, there's no contact after that. To find out, hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? They send me skin products as well. And it's just when you think, okay, it's over, then they send you something else just to pick you up again. So my experience with Platinum Life was very positive. It's the first time I get to deal with the insurance company that is this efficient. Living in Gauteng, okay, it's not a cancer policy, but you get to deal with a lot of crime and break-ins and whatever, and I struggled a lot with other insurance companies. When you want to claim, you pay your policy every month, but when you need to get something from them, it always becomes an issue. But I must say with Platinum Life, it was a very positive experience. In my case, I had just purchased a property, the one that we're sitting in right now, and there was a lot that needed to be done. I had transfer fees that had to be paid, there was stuff that I needed, so because I had a good medical aid, I didn't need it to cover medical expenses, but there was other things that I needed to do. I invested some of the money as well, but it just took a lot of stress off my shoulders, because thinking, okay, how are we going to cover this and how are we going to cover that? It actually, I don't want to say that the cancer came at the right time, but yeah, it took a lot of stress away. Okay. Having that extra money, and I could utilize it to do what I needed to do. I didn't have to use it in a specific way or anything like that. Don't ever think that it's not going to happen to you. I've encouraged all my friends to get themselves checked out regularly. Breast cancer, 1 in 4 women, the stats currently. It could happen to you at any time. It's not something that's only going to happen to you when you over 60 or over 50. Another 2 of my friends have been diagnosed. It's just, don't ever think that it won't happen to you now. And the thing about cancer is, the sooner you detect it, the easier it is to deal with medically. Because like in my case, I ignored it, and I could have maybe gotten away just with radium. But because it was stage 3 already, they had to go with the most aggressive route, which was chemo. Luckily, not a mastectomy. But chemo is, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, put it that way. It's a hectic experience. So I would say that the earlier it is detected, I think the less aggressive your treatment will be. So it will be easier for you to deal with.